Hello everybody, this is Diane. Thank you for coming to my channel today. As you can see, I have been busy working on a journal that you haven't even seen yet. You saw the supplies. This is a journal I'm making with some of the supplies that Carina sent me from Sweden. So it is a Scandinavian journal. This is the back. I'm going to flip it over and show you the front. But I put this cover together when I couldn't sleep on Saturday night. So I was up during the night making the cover. That's why there's no video of that. But also, I just wanted to play and, think and not try to entertain, I guess, or instruct. So this is a Reader's Digest condensed book cover, if you couldn't tell. And they tend to be a little bit smaller than some of the journals that I make. This is 5 1/4 by 7 1/2. And I put it together with a 2-inch spine, and I added some gimp trim here. And this is the front. I used one of the postcards that Carina sent me. I just trimmed a little off to bring it down to size and put some red cardstock around it, put some muslin behind it, and I stitched around it for a decoration and then just glued it to the front. And this is from a ribbon that she sent me. I love this. I am getting a lot of good use out of it already. And that is Swedish for Good Christmas or Merry Christmas. And this right here is a scrap of linen. I had cut something off it, and this was in my stash of stuff. And it had this nice embroidered edge, so I put that on. But of course there wasn't that edge on this side, so that's why I used the gimp over here. And I think it just makes a nice, simple but elegant accent to it. I tried to use as much of the Swedish stuff as I could, but I did have to add some other things. This fabric in here is from my own stash, and then I just used paper and punched it. Sorry, cardstock to punch that. And I used some papers, some heavy papers from my stash, and some dyed papers that I had made. And I thought that she had sent me music paper, but I'm not seeing it, so I used some music paper, Christmas music paper from my stash. But a lot of the stuff that I'm using is what she sent me. So these two signatures I've done a lot of work in. And I'm going to do a little more. I want to do a little more stamping, and I don't know what else, but I know that some more needs to be done. But it's already a full journal, and I still have to finish filling the third signature. So it's going to be a bit of a gator mouth. And I don't like to make gator mouth journals, but many of you like them, so I'm not too worried about it. Because I just wanted to include as much of Carina's items as I could. So without any further ado, I'm going to set my beautiful cover aside, and I'm going to use these as a reference to remember what I'm doing for this one. And I have a lot of things already prepped, so hopefully we'll get a lot of progress done on this. I think I did all of the sewing that I needed to do. So I added a fabric ruffle to the front, and I forgot to prep the little embellishment, but that won't take much work. I have a thread here. I haven't been letting the threads hang, so I'll just get rid of the threads. It's stitched in. Okay, so this is a postage stamp, and it's glued to a little bit of a sparkly gold cardstock and a little piece of ribbon. So she gave me a ton of postage stamps, so I've used quite a few in this journal so far. I've got little gnomes here. There are no gnome postage stamps. I think I'll just use that one. I thought maybe something with a darker background would be better because that has a light background. There are a whole bunch of these little red mailboxes with the birds dropping the letters in, and that would be cute, but I already used it, but I think that's okay. I think it's okay to have 2 of them in here, so let's do it. I don't want to waste time since I did most of the prep work already and I forgot to do this one. I'm just going to trim off the paper envelope. And I have my little sparkly gold cardstock piece. I think I got this from Stampin' Up, but I don't remember. I think it was a 6x6 piece, and I've been cutting little snippets off to back my stamps with. And now I just need a piece of ribbon to put behind it. I have this sheer light tan color, wheat color. Fold it. I'm just going to put a little dab of glue inside to hold the fold, although I probably don't need to because it's a sheer ribbon and I think the glue would just seep right through all the layers when I put it on the back of it, or the front of it, and the back. So I'm going to put it on the front to glue it to the stamp, and on the back to glue it to my page. Alright, let's decide where we want to put it on here before I add the glue. Oh, they're both at the top, so I'm just going to put it at the top. I didn't know if I couldn't remember if I was putting it at different levels on the page. I do want to talk about placement of things a little bit. There. And then you can glue a picture on top of that if you want to. Here is, I didn't need to glue that down, but you know, sometimes I forgot that I was prepping and not, you know, completing. But this is the front of a stamp book that Carina sent me. She sent me a envelope. And I don't think I realized when I showed this the other day, I don't think I realized that that's what it is. You can see where the perforation is, where the stamps had been connected. So there's several different pieces, and I'm using a different one in each, at the front of each signature. So there's that one. And I want to put a pocket here. So I have gone ahead and prepped this piece of ribbon, this embroidered ribbon that she sent me. This piece I think was sturdy enough to be a pocket on its own, but it had a lot of embroidery threads on the back, and so in order to prevent, whoops, those are fabric scissors, that's a no-no. In order to prevent things from getting caught in the threads as they get put into the pocket, I'm backing it with cardstock. The other pieces I had to back because they were thinner, so this is a piece of fabric. She sent me this strip. And this one is that piece. I'm just going to put some ink on the edges because I can see some of the cardstock there. Somebody's mowing. Like every time I do a video, somebody's mowing. She sent me quite a few antique postcards. Is that what I put in these? Yep. I'm going to move these over to this side so I don't have to keep reaching in front of the camera. So I'm going to pick out an antique postcard to go in there. These are not the antique ones. Here they are. The antique ones are narrower than the other ones that she sent me, so that was a good thing. It's a Happy New Year card. Glad New Year. Maybe I'll put that at the back of the book, because that'll be the end of the journal. So after Christmas is New Year's. All right, we might as well just do the whole page while we're here. So on this side, I'm just going to glue this coaster. I don't have a coaster in all of the signatures. They're kind of thick, but I do have one in another signature. And I'll find something to put in there sometime. Well, on that page, I already glued it down because I sewed it all together and then forgot that I was just prepping, so then I glued. And I see this little bit of ribbon got folded over, which I didn't notice when I glued it in. So I'm just gonna see if I can snip it. Looking for my little scissors. To open it up. The end of those scissors don't want to cut that. There, that helped. Okay. So this is a piece of her fabric and her ribbon, and then these are from my stash. But here's where I want to talk about placement of things. In my first signature, I put that piece on this side of the paper. And in the next signature, I moved it over a bit. And the ribbon here is in the, the ribbon here is in the center of the piece, and this one is over to the right. And that way, the ribbon is in a different place. And in this one, I also put it over at this end and moved the piece down further. So these are pretty close together, but they are in different places, so they're not all stacked on top of each other. And the same goes for these ribbons and what they're attached to, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. Which one am I working on? This one. Is that all I needed to do on that page? Yes. So this is a page I might come back and do something to. Okay. Next I have this page, which was one of those computer sheets. And for this, I just want to glue a pretty ribbon or trim on the edge. And this is not from Sweden, but it matches the bright colors of some of the Swedish things that she sent. I got this at a flea market, and it is vintage. So I think I will glue this to the edge. The other, well, none of the other ones have a Swedish trim on the end either. The Swedish things that she sent me were either this ribbon, or they were wide pieces. So I'm going to glue this to the edge. You know I love my vintage embroidered trims. Well, I love new embroidered trims too. For junk journals, I think they're pretty cool. And they just add a really fun and interesting element. I don't know if Carina is watching these videos. I don't hear from her until, every now and then she sends me a message on Messenger. And often the message is, I'm sending you something. But I don't hear from her for the most part, so I don't know how much she watches my videos. She must watch them some because she knows what I would like. And this is blank on this side, so I want to add one of these German die cuts that she sent, or what are they called? German scrap pieces. So I don't know if these were made in Germany or Switzerland. I know they're called German scrap, but I don't know if that means they're all made in Germany. I'll just put a Santa Claus up there. Nothing on this side yet, so that might be something I have to come back and work on. Now, for this next thing, I'm going to add a page, and the page is going to be a tag shape. So this is some of the coffee dyed paper that I made recently. I dipped it in coffee and laid it on my paper toweling on the kitchen counter, and then I sprayed it with some of my spray inks. And I sprinkled some salt on to give it that spotted effect. Some of those, whatever spray inks I used had a little bit of glimmer in them, which is great. So I'm just going to fold this in half and cut a tag shape. This is a little wider than I want, though. Let me see how wide the other one is. 4 inches. I have it the right length, but I didn't cut the width. Just a little bit. And now, while it's folded in half, I'm going to snip one corner at an angle. Make sure I have this piece facing the right way. Yep, it's this way. So then I'll just flip it over to this side. That way the corners should match. And then I'll just take a piece of ribbon from my stash and fold it again, and this time I'm going to staple it. This stapler has copper staples in it. Just kind of put it in the center. Have to do that again. I'm going to pull both of those out because I think that it crumpled up my ribbon instead of stapling through it. I'm going to try it one more time. I used, well, not both of them, sheer ribbon. Nope, it's not going to go through. This ribbon is too thick. And now I have torn my paper, so I'm going to have to put something over that. So I guess I will just, I think I'll just sew the ribbon across. So that will have to be done on the sewing machine. So I'll put it behind there and then just stitch across. And I have red thread in my machine. But it will go into the signature like this. You can see I used green ribbon. So what I wanted to say was, after I put this in and saw that it sticks out beyond the book cover, I thought, well, I'll just have all these ribbons stacked up, but I'm going to just move the tags. So this tag page is up higher and the other page will be down to stagger the ribbons. Okay, next page is fun. I'm just going to stamp on this really fun music manuscript paper that I dyed with yellow dye. I think this is one that I dyed with my RIT dye when I did some little bit of fabric and some different papers with some RIT dye colors. I want to do that again soon. So I have these Scandinavian stamps, and I don't remember where I got them. I want to say they were in one of those craft magazines that you pay 15 bucks for, and then it has a free gift. And I only bought it for the stamps, not for the magazine, really. And I love these stamps, so it was worth the price. I've used these quite a few times. I can use them in folk art journals because they're not all Christmassy images, although it is a Christmas set. So I have a stamp already here on my block. And I'm using Wendy Vecchi's Archival Ink Red Geranium from Ranger. See, told you that was a fun one. And I don't have anything on the other side in the other signatures yet. So I might stamp again over there. I was thinking that we might have time to finish up some of the unfinished pages, but I don't know if we will. Okay, so the next page is a music page. And I folded it over here, and I'm going to glue it closed to make a little pocket. And on this side, I'm going to put one of the stickers. I think it's a gift sticker, or you would write the recipient's name. And she sent me a few of those in different, and they each have a different design. I think I saved out one to put in my own journal because I wanted to keep one. It doesn't feel really sticky, so I'm going to put some glue on it. I don't know if this is going to show through because this is pretty sheer. So I'm going to put this on. I don't think this shows through. It worked well on the other ones. So you can write on this piece. It is a little bit, it doesn't seem very porous, so you may need to use a Sharpie type of pen. And then up here I'm going to put a little piece of fabric with a little trim. So I wanted to point out that I took this cherub fabric that Carina sent me, and I didn't want the cherubs on the ruffle, but I wanted the stars, so I just cut a piece that was stars. I think it was right along here. I couldn't tear it because this was cut on the bias. So I think a little bit of his foot ended up on my strip, but it's in the fold, so you can't see it. So I thought that I would just cut a little square. Maybe I'll use pinking shears for that with the stars. And I'll just cut a flower. This is a vintage trim that I got at the flea market. And just glue that down as a little embellishment. And on this side of the page, I'm going to glue this onto the pocket. This is slightly wider, I think, than the paper that I folded over, but that it'll still work. You can still tuck your pieces in, and it just makes the pocket just a little bit wider. Thought that went crooked. And she sent me a lot of cards of different types. Little gift cards, postcards, folded cards, modern and more modern. I don't know how old they are, but not antique postcards. Lots of things. I forgot what I did yesterday was to put the glue onto the paper, not the card. This card is pretty much the same size, but I folded that over bigger, must be, because other ones hung over and I didn't want to have glue, you know, on this that glued it to the paper. So in this pocket I will probably tuck one of the little gift enclosure cards she sent me. Just tuck that in there, and I'll probably put something else in there. And on this page, I don't want to cover the title of the song. It won't be long till Christmas, so I'm just going to add another stamp embellishment. I don't know why I just put the top on this glue, because I need it. I'm going to have to cover up part of that. Yeah. No, I'll just put it down here. The other one is down at the bottom, but that's okay. They can both be down there. And on this side, I'm going to put another label. This is stickier. It's not as old as the others, but I'm still going to put glue on it. And then we just have a book page. Nice sturdy Swedish book page, and I didn't do anything to it, so I'm just putting it in the signature. And another dyed paper. All I did to this one so far was put one of her envelopes on with the first day cover stamps. Really pretty stained glass looking stamps, and I'll probably end up putting something inside. And I may stamp or add something to that other side. This page has some of her wrapping paper. She sent me several pieces of wrapping paper, which was really fun. So I cut a piece of cardstock the size I wanted to fit on this page, which is, in this case, 4.5 by 7, I think. Something like that. And then I glued that to the back of the wrapping paper and then cut the wrapping paper out around it, because sometimes wrapping paper is big and folded and difficult to cut straight. So that was the easiest way to do it. I learned on the 3rd try. So I glued it down and then I sewed all around it. I switched back and forth from straight stitch to zigzag. And then I just glued the rickrack down, because gluing rickrack is fussy. But I do want to glue this piece of lace. It has a little bit of silver metallic thread through it. There was just a lot of space up here because the next Santa's face got cut off. I wanted to embellish that part. You can see the crinkly eyes of these Santas, and that's really fun. Look at all these little smiling crinkly eyes. Now I've pointed that out to you and you'll probably think it's creepy. Well, it says he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. So we need lots of crinkly eyes watching, right? And then I'm going to glue this to the front, and I know it's covering up a lot of that pretty paper, but it's on the back side too. I haven't done anything to the back side yet on the other journals. But before I do that, I want to trim off the excess overhanging lace. So I don't want glue on this edge. And I think I'll tuck this postcard in it when it's dry. On the inside, I just want a little pocket So I thought about using one of these German pieces that she sent me, the German scrap, that are glued to paper. And I could glue it to a piece of cardstock. I wasn't sure if I would fussy cut around the image or leave it on the notebook paper, because I think the notebook paper is pretty cool. I don't think she glued these pieces down because the paper looks older. It's not so old that it's brittle, but it's a little bit yellowed. So I think I'll just leave it on the notebook paper like that and just glue it here. And it'll just be a tuck spot, not a full pocket. Wasn't sure what I was going to do with this, but I had it in my little pile, figuring I would do something with it. I'm getting a collection of stuff here again. Okay. I forgot to put this little card where she was going. I think I can put this one in now. It's probably dry. I might have to put a little tab on there because it'll slip down in. And you might not know it's there. I think this was supposed to go in here. Now I need something for this side. I guess I'll do another one over here. She wrote on here 1932, I think it says. I think I'll leave that on there. It'll make the pocket a little bigger, but it's in her handwriting because she has written dates on other things that she sent me. So I just wanted you to see the date. That means I can't oh, I'll cut it off because I want to pink the top of it. But maybe I'll glue it up there. Just a little note. Put that up there before it gets lost. Darn, I put the glue on the written side. Smearing the pencil. That was silly. It's so pale I didn't even see it. So hopefully it's going to look like a little snip of paper with a date on it and not just some random piece of paper with pinking shear cutting. Hope you'll be able to see the number. But it's there. just have to glue it on. Oh. I even checked and still put the glue on the wrong side. Of course, I'll have to put something in those tuck spots. And lastly, I'm supposed to have a book page. Oh, here it is. And I didn't do anything to that. It has that nice Swedish text, which I have no idea what it means, the folk art looking designs, and the beautiful color illustration on the inside. So I didn't do anything to it. So obviously, I have some work to do on the back half of the signature, of all of the signatures, because what I did in here has already been done in these journals, and so they're all caught up. I just have to add my tag with the ribbons, and so those ribbons will show up down here. So yeah, I think I have some more pieces I can glue in and some more stamps I can use to just decorate the back half of the book. And I'll check the, we have a minute or so. Let's see how many pockets we have in the front and the back. So there's 1, 2, 3, counting the envelope, 4, 5 in the front half. 1, 2, 3, 4, but in the other signatures there's only 1 over here. I wanted these 2 to go together. I cut these so I could put a pocket on the back, and there'll be 5 pockets on each, in each half of the book. That makes 10 pockets per book. Oh, no, it wasn't this guy. He goes inside, but he's on this long banner type of thing. And it's double-sided, so it was probably meant to sit up as a decoration. But these were similar. They were on a stretched out thing too. And one says Merry Christmas and one says Happy New Year. So I wanted them both. And the other journals, it's just one over here. So if I put a pocket on the back, some kind of a pocket, maybe a triangle one on the back, then there'll be 5 pockets on each half. I mean, it doesn't have to be the same. I just don't want it to be unbalanced, like all the good stuff is in the front half and then it's like boring in the back. And it's not. I have lots of good stuff in the back. So I don't know. Because the books are already fat, I may just leave that plain. Not the books, the book. It's so odd to just make one book, and I love it. It's refreshing. So we're popping up a little bit. I don't think I'd call it a gator mouth yet though, but I'm not done putting things in the pockets. Alright, so I hope that you enjoyed coming along with me as I worked on these signatures, and I hope that you're looking forward to seeing the finished product. And I hope that you are having a creative day today. I will see you soon. Have a creative day. Bye-bye.